on Zoom or other online virtual conferencing platforms isn't a new phenomenon in the acting industry. For years, acting coaches have been working with performers virtually. Recently, working virtually has become a necessity if you want to keep collaborating or stay competitive in your creative field. But just because it's been around for a while doesn't necessarily mean that it's super easy to hop right on and figure it out on the first try. Hi, I'm Lesley Larsen. I'm an acting coach and a director, and I'm here to share with you a few tips on how to rock your next virtual rehearsal. The first two tips to help you kill it in that online virtual rehearsal may seem a little silly, but are pretty crucial when working virtually. Number 1, know where your camera is. Take some time to find your camera. Most devices have a camera at the top of the screen. If you're on a laptop, it's usually right at the top center of your screen and will have a little light to indicate when it's on. When you're acting on a virtual platform, you don't want to be focused just on how you look, especially if you're being recorded. Looking directly into the camera will make it feel and look like you're actually talking to your scene partner. When you're playing around with where your camera is, take notes. How far away and how close to the camera can you get? Because, number 2, make sure your face is in the center of your screen. It's important that you can be seen clearly by your scene partners, directors, and any potential virtual audience. Having half of your face off camera just won't cut it. So center your face on camera. Especially explore where you can move around on screen and still remain on camera. Seeing only part of someone's face for an entire rehearsal will get old fast and frustrating, especially on a virtual platform where we actually get the opportunity to do close-ups of sort and really show facial expressions and emotions up close. When we don't get to see your full face, we won't be able to see all of your work. The next tip to help you look like a pro at your next virtual rehearsal is number 3. Become familiar with the platform you're working in. Know how to mute and unmute yourself, how to hide your self-view, and how to stop and start your video, as well as other aspects of the platform, how breakout rooms work, or how the chat feature works, etc. Trust me, nothing slows a virtual rehearsal process down more than having to pause and explain to someone how to do basic functions on the virtual platform. Figure it out before you get into your rehearsal. Most virtual platforms will let you record yourself. Record a few minutes of you talking at various volumes to see how loud and how soft you can get. Make notes of these volumes and adjust your settings and your position in front of the camera if necessary. Number 4, check your lighting. Okay, so you figured out where your camera is. You've got your face in the center of the screen, but you don't have good lighting that actually shows your face without washing it out too much or covering it in shadow. There are professional lighting kits that you can use if you feel like investing. And if you're working professionally, you probably should. But oftentimes, the lights you have in your own house will do just fine. Try moving around some lamps, and this might take some time to get it right. Explore different heights and angles, or if you're rehearsing during the day, put your camera in front of a window with you facing the window. The light from the sun through the window usually does a perfect job at lighting your space and your face. Now, the first few tips I listed are all technical ones, like virtually technical stuff. The next tip relates to you as a performer. And again, it might seem simple, but good tips usually are. So here it is. Number 5, treat your virtual rehearsal with the same amount of respect that you would treat your in-person physical rehearsal. If you couldn't bring your pet to the theater or rehearsal hall, don't bring it to the virtual rehearsal space. If you wouldn't slouch in your chair and look bored during an in-person rehearsal, don't do it in your virtual rehearsal. If you wouldn't scroll on your phone during a work session in an in-person rehearsal, please, for the love of all that's good and holy, don't do it in a virtual rehearsal working session. In other words, don't do anything in a virtual rehearsal, behavior-wise, that you wouldn't do in the actual in-person rehearsal. It just winds up being rude or distracts from the work, which is the last thing you want. Working virtually as an artist isn't likely going anywhere anytime soon. It's important that you familiarize yourself with working in these kinds of platforms so that you can continue to make yourself invaluable to your creative teams. All right, that's the tip for today. Take some time to explore these tips before your next online rehearsal. I guarantee they will help you appear more professional and will help your work in rehearsal immensely. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Mountain Valley Homes Team, E&E Plumbing and Heating, and First Bank and Trust Company. It's companies like these that make content like this possible. We appreciate your support. I'll see y'all next time.